Good evening and welcome to the news with the extra touch. It is an hour and a half of recent happenings that reflects Nigeria's diversity in culture, beliefs, not forgetting the unfolding political developments in our clime. Tonight, we begin with attention on Ogoni land as Federal Executive Council approves the award of 229 billion naira for 2 projects in the area. We go to the National Assembly where President Buhari is seeking approval from the Senate for an $800 million facility from the World Bank to scale up the National Social Safety Net program. Still at the National Assembly, jostling for leadership position in the 10th National Assembly goes a notch higher as APC National Working Committee promises a fair deal to all contenders. We also have something positive as usual from the Police Officers' Wives Association as they seek to teach members to fish and eat for a lifetime instead of eating fish for a day. And if I may ask, do you know the difference between a frog and a toad? Hold your breath. You will get to find out the species that makes a special delicacy for many people. Now imagine a situation where you park your car on the roadside to run a short errand only to come out and find the car missing. What will run through your mind? That is the psychological trauma some people go through in the Federal Capital Territory. These and much more form parts of the lineup for tonight. Sit back and enjoy the ride. After all, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. I am Fatima Morbuba and this is News Extra. You're welcome. 37 agenda items treated in 7.5 hours by the Federal Executive Council. At its meeting, among them is the approval for the award of 129 billion naira for 2 projects under the second phase in Ogoni land. We'll sure bring you the details of the story in the course of the bulletin. President Muhammadu Buhari will be in London, United Kingdom, for an additional week at the behest of his dentist, who has started attending to him. A statement by the special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, notes that the president's specialist requires to see him in another 5 days for a procedure already commenced. President Buhari had joined other world leaders to attend the coronation of King Charles III on May 6, 2023. In the meantime, President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu this Wednesday departed Nigeria for Europe. The president-elect is expected to use the opportunity of the trip to fine-tune the transition plans and programs and his policy options with some of his key aides. In a statement, Tunde Rahman disclosed that the president-elect will also engage with investors and other key allies with the goal of marketing investment opportunities in the country and his administration's readiness to enable a business-friendly climate through policies and regulations. The media office said already meetings with multi-sectoral actors in Europe's business community, including manufacturing, agriculture, tech and energy, have been lined up, adding that reviving the country's economy forms a major plank of Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, and the meeting is part of his efforts to re-establish Nigeria's importance in the global economic chain and create empowering opportunities for the country's huge youth population. Before leaving the country, Tinubu reportedly met with the House of Representatives candidate for Speaker and Deputy Speaker endorsed by his party, the All Progressives Congress, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas and Honorable Benjamin Kalu, who were presented to him by joint task team of the House. He is scheduled to return soon for preparations towards his official swearing in on May 29, 2023. Now, until May 29, work continues for President Buhari as he writes Senate seeking approval for an $800 million loan facility from the World Bank. The fund is to scale up the National Social Safety Net program. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Sunko reports that the Senate has approved the reimbursement of 9.6 billion naira to Plateau and Borno states for federal roads projects executed by the states.
Those against any that
Plenary took off with President of the Senate Ahmed Lawan reading executive communication from President Muhammadu Buhari requesting that the Senate approves a loan of $800 million United States dollars for the National Social Safety Net program.
The NASSP, being a social intervention program, will stimulate activities in the informal sector, improve nutrition, health, education, and human capital development of beneficiary households.
Senate confirmed the appointment of 6 nominees as federal commissioners for the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission and Abdul Abubakar as non-executive director of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Senate passed the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission Act Amendment Bill, while the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission Act Amendment Bill, sponsored by Senator Sadiq Umar, passed second reading. The Public Procurement Act Amendment Bill, sponsored by Senator Emmanuel Boacha, and the bill that seeks to utilize and cater for the well-being of former members of the National Assembly through the establishment of a Parliamentary Welfare Management Board, sponsored by Senator Stella Odua, also passed second reading.
And to restrict the appointment of the executive chairman of the commission to only the commission's serving investigation officers. There is need to amend the Extant Act to include the Federal High Court among the courts the commission can prosecute these cases. I urge him and other people who will be in the 10th Assembly to bring all the anti-graft agencies bill acts, look at them, and be able to put boundaries between each of these agencies.
For interface between serving and former members of National Assembly, and also to cater for the welfare and issues of former National Assembly members.
Senate approved the 2017-2018 report of its Committee on Public Accounts on the annual reports of the Auditor General for the Federation and urged the executive to implement the recommendations as part of measures to strengthen the fight against corruption. Senate condemned recent attacks in Benue South. It called on the National Emergency Management Agency to provide relief materials to victims as moved by Senator Abba Moro. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Joint Tax Team of the 10th National Assembly has thrown its weight behind the position of governing APC in zoning principal offices ahead of the inauguration of the Assembly. National Assembly correspondent Abdullahi Aminu reports.
Seated in this hall are members-elect and serving members of the House of Representatives. They converged to resolve some contending issues surrounding the election of leadership of the 10th Assembly.
What we are doing is just simply trying to ensure that yes, we have a stable 10th Assembly like other previous leaders and assemblies enjoy.
The members later went into a closed-door session and endorsed the speakership and deputy speakership to Abbas Tajuddin and Benjamin Kalu in line with the decision of the APC.
So we'll come out with a 16-point agenda. In that agenda, you see all the areas we are going to work on in the 10th Assembly.
The Southeast is going to feel the power of cohesion and national loyalty is going to be driven by virtue of this that has taken place.
The Joint Tax of Members has, however, said it is an independent legislative forum, neutral and non-partisan, trying to observe the best practices of the contemporary parliamentary system. In Abuja, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
We're told that when we do not plan, we are actually planning to fail, meaning whoever plans is desirous of success, be it in governance or personal endeavor. No wonder the management of National Assembly usually organize an induction for new members before they wear that esteemed title of distinguished or honorable. Such an induction is in progress in Abuja to inculcate rudiments of legislative work on the lawmakers. National Assembly correspondent Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports that technocrats in legislative matters are having a field day as they impact knowledge of lawmaking processes on the incoming lawmakers.
The week-long induction for the Batch A new and returning lawmakers is designed to expose them to the new task. It is to serve as refresher course on different periods of Parliament, sitting, assembly, and recess, as well as activities of the clerks of both red and green chambers. Papers presented dwelt extensively on legislative practice, procedure and floor proceedings, structure, powers and functions of Nigerian legislature, budget process and money bills, as well as constitutional alteration, among others.
Anything that contradicts the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria will be declared null and void to the extent of its contradiction to the Constitution.
It's necessary to have orientation of this nature lasting 2, 3, 4, 5 days as the National Assembly Management and the Institute of Legislative Studies has done, to fill them in and to bring them up to speed with what they're going to do.
Members-elect are of the view that with the prerequisite knowledge acquired on the legislative matters, the 10th National Assembly will be skills-oriented.
For us as first-timers, it is quite refreshing and quite educative. At the same time, it is preparing us for the task ahead, knowing fully well that you have to understand the nuances and the procedure of doing things in the National Assembly.
Some people don't have legislative experience, so it's good to prepare the incoming members, the members elect.
We're actually blessed coming at this time that the nation is expecting so much from us.
A mock on how the first sitting of the 10th National Assembly and elections of principal officers at Senate and House of Representatives chambers was also demonstrated.
I will have the privilege to invite a senator-elect to nominate another senator.
It is a theory and practice induction for new and returning members-elect of the 10th National Assembly, and so they required the nitty-gritty of the legislative proceedings before the business proper. In Abuja, Mohammed Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Abdullahi Adamu says the party will work with all concerned stakeholders to ensure the emergence of credible and generally acceptable leaders of the would-be 10th House of Representatives leadership. This was at an engagement within the party's National Working Committee and a forum of aspirants for the position of Speaker. Salihu Gwanara has that.
The decision of the party's National Working Committee that microzone the leadership positions of the 10th National Assembly to some individuals has not only generated mixed reactions, but has been a subject of discussion. It is in view of these that the current Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Idris Wase, who is also in the race for the position of Speaker, led 5 other aspirants to the National Secretariat of APC to appeal to the party's leadership to review its position ahead of the inauguration.
Let us not destroy this party before we go into the next election. We should build this party on the spirit and trust of equity distribution of everything resources. It's guaranteed by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
I plead with you in good conscience to give us a little time to take a good and better look at your presentation and open our ears and eyes the more to hear more and see more.
The members aspiring for the Speaker of the 10th House of Representatives present at the meeting include Honorable Betara Mukhtar, Yusuf Gaji, Sani Jaji, Miriam Onuaha, and Sada Soli. Meanwhile, the Director General of the Amalgamated APC Support Groups, Kailani Mohammed, says with vibrant leadership for the 10th National Assembly is inevitable to fast-track the renewed hope agenda of the President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
As a Democrat, and for Tinubu I know, Tinubu has never said or has not commented. It's just political gimmick, and some people are using propaganda in the media. The party has not said adoption.
He appealed to party members to remain calm and offer useful contributions as the search for leadership of the would-be 10th National Assembly is in progress. In Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
Moving forward together is the campaign slogan of the Chairman, House of Representatives Committee on Navy and member representing Panshin Kanke Kanam Federal Constituency, Yusuf Adam Gagni, as he unveils his manifesto to contest the position of Speaker in the 10th Assembly. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that Gagni is of the view that meeting the expectations of Nigerians requires dedication, quality, and capacity of members in the Parliament.
I was born in a small village of Gumi in Gatti ward of Kanam local government area of Plateau State. My father was a religious teacher and my mother kept the home. There wasn't much to keep. Ours was a story of survival against the desperate odds.
Tracing his humble beginning, Yusuf Adamu Gagdi draws inspiration to serve from what he calls the hard lessons of life. As the speakership position hopeful, Gagdi says his ambition is to use the legislature to give a voice to all Nigerians.
I will be the speaker that will make you a representative fellow Nigerians. Vote publicly for you to know whether they vote for or against any policy and decisions of government. Our president-elect is a talent hunter, and I declare to all Nigerians that Asuwaju will find one of the best talent in Yusuf Adamu Gagdi to partner with and take Nigeria to the promised land.
Having set a record of being the only lawmaker who has 6 bills assented to by Mr. President within a span of 4 years, Gagdi urges his colleagues to give him the chance.
I will allow the House to be the 10th Assembly in which the NNPP member, the Labour Party member, the PDP member, the APC member, the Young People Party member will debate based on merit, not based on political party sentiment, tribal sentiment, and or religious sentiment. This is someone who believes in humanity.
Yusuf Gagdi said if he became a speaker, the kind of oversight should shut down the House. Let the committees go around the nation, oversight all the projects. If you oversight projects in this nation, you will tackle corruption almost 70%.
I've known Gagdi all this while to be a man of his word, very straightforward and a goal-getter.
Of my intention that the Gagdi plan one nation forward together for the good of humanity.
Lami Ali, NTA News.
Well, away from that now to the judiciary. The Presidential Election Petition Court has struck out petition of the Action People's Party APP. The 5-man panel of justices of the court headed by Justice Haruna Simon Zamani gave the order following the withdrawal of the petition which the petitioners filed against the victory of President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The Independent National Electoral Commission INEC and the All Progressives Congress APC. Austin Ayebe of our Judiciary Desk now reports. Well, we apologize for that. Now, we'll actually tend to bring you that report much later in the course of the bulletin. Now, President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu has congratulated Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke over his victory at the Supreme Court, urging him to now move quickly to unite the state. The president-elect said with the final court in the land giving its verdict on the Osun governorship tussle, all must respect the judgment. In a statement from his office, Tinubu also commended the immediate past governor of the state, Adegboyega Oyetola, for discharging his duties creditably during his first term and for deepening democracy by pursuing his democratic rights peacefully to the end. President-elect Tinubu urged Osun people to work for peace and progress in the state. In another story, teaching people to fish so they can eat for a lifetime is what the Police Officers' Wives Association, POA, is all about. One of the association's projects, a skills acquisition center, has just been upgraded and is ready. It was no less a personality that the First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Buhari, who inaugurated the upgraded center and other projects embarked by President of the association, Hajara Usman Al-Ali Baba. State House correspondent Aliu Kabir completes the story.
In our quest of promoting the welfare of the police community, especially the spouses of the officers and men, the president of the Police Officers' Wives Association, Hajara Usman Al-Ali Baba, has refurbished the Power Skills Acquisition Center located at MD Abubakar Barracks, Day Abuja. The facility upgraded include ultra-modern tailoring and fashion center, ICT, salon and beauty therapy, adult education and fitness centers, among others. Conducted around the center aimed at equipping participants with the requisite knowledge and skills that can be useful to themselves and their family for better policing in the country. The First Lady expressed happiness with these laudable achievements, urging the President to remain steadfast in her efforts towards transforming the lives of the family of the officers and men of the police.
We are gathered here today to celebrate the Power President for emulating future Osun qualities as she brings back to life the Skill Acquisition Center in Dede. The President of Power, Hajara Al-Ali Usman, you have been a good driver for the actualization of the dreams and inspirations of Power.
My management team and I, with full support of the IGP and his team, started the refurbishment, furnishing and equipping of the center. Today, to the glory of the Almighty Allah, we are gathered here to witness the revamped Power Mega Skill Acquisition Center.
The First Lady also inaugurated Power National Secretariat, upgraded and newly equipped with state-of-the-art facilities for the benefit of the entire police family. In Abuja, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
Let us again delve into the women's world in this one. Remember the Beijing spirit, 35% affirmative action, equality for all gender. Well, in a world allegedly dominated by men, where women struggle to break barriers to occupy strategic positions of authority, one government agency is receiving accolades for being a female gender-friendly agency. Unnoticed by many, the National Council for Women's Society, however, took notice and reveals that over 50% of women serve as general managers and zonal directors in this agency we're talking about. A reason behind the handshake of fellowship to the Director General as a true he for she. Ngozi Technical tells us the story of the visit of the council to this female gender-friendly agency.
This is NTA with about 6,000 workforce. The number of women among these goes beyond the men, ranging from the faces on the screen, the foot soldiers, and those at the helm of affairs across NTA stations in Nigeria. This is why the National Council for Women's Society, in their numbers, came calling in appreciation of the gender-friendly policy of this media agency. For the women, there are other reasons for applauding NTA.
NTA
holds important responsibility of ensuring positive national image, public enlightenment, social reorientation, promotion of national values.
Then comes the decoration and award of excellence to the he/she Director General.
I, Hajia Lami Adamulao, the National President of the National Council for Women Societies, Nigeria, do hereby decorate the gender-friendly Director General.
For the DG and entire NTA management, the award is a motivation to increase the pace in promoting the gender agenda.
I accept this award not only as a recognition of the past achievement, but as a reminder of the work that still lies ahead. We must continue to fight for equal opportunities, equal rights, and equal representation for women in Nigeria.
In marking its 1 year in office, the Council seeks for more collaboration with NTA. In Abuja, Ngozi Technical, NTA News.
Well, congratulations, our DG, and to the NTA family as a whole. Now, the prerequisites to actualizing the contents of the Sustainable Development Goals for meaningful socio-economic transformation hinges on a robust and all-inclusive national security policy. At the 44th Conference of the National Institute of Physics, Director of Monitoring and Evaluation, Defense Headquarters, Air Vice Marshal Abdullahi Kasimu said, for enduring sustainable development goals, national security should be seen as everybody's business. Michael Olalere reports.
Inventions like aeronautical communication and space science are beauty to behold. But behind their uniqueness, there is the power of physics. Such could be said of all the weapons used in executing war in order to instill peace, and the pathway to entrenching these finds solace in Air Vice Marshal Kasimu's presentation titled National Security for Sustainable Development. His paper analyzes national security to include lack of food, energy, water, environmental, social, and economic insecurities, which is a sharp contrast to the general notion of being seen from a military angle.
Federal Government of Nigeria should review national security policy to enhance inclusivity and accommodation of more elements of national security. Federal Government of Nigeria should encourage participatory and collaborative approach to security issues in Nigeria by upscaling non-kinetic approach and mine-winning strategy.
A presentation on space weather and its connecting roles to oil exploration, communication, and electricity was highlighted.
In the oil and gas industry, horizontal drilling requires a lot of geomagnetic coordinates, and during geomagnetic storms, all these things are affected.
The government will key into the things we are saying here by adequately, funding the learning and teaching of physics.
The creation of a research center for the institute, it was agreed, will augment the quest of the federal government to drive innovation for socio-economic needs of the country. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari felicitates with Oba Sikiru Kayode Adetona, the Awujale of the Ijebu Kingdom, Ogun State, as he marks his 89th birthday, describing him as one of the most remarkable personalities in Nigeria. President Buhari, in a statement by his senior special assistant on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, praises the qualities of the Ijebu traditional ruler for his dedication to the welfare of his people and the country at large. President Buhari praised Allah to give the Awujale the strength and health to reach all his goals, urging him to continue making his numerous efforts for the nation's progress. Up ahead, a ground story of Nigerians who played key role in King Charles III's coronation, plus a ray of hope for Nigerian students who just returned from war-torn Sudan. Stay back. Welcome back. The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has restrained the National Broadcasting Commission (NBC) from imposing fines on broadcast stations in Nigeria. Granting a prayer for perpetual injunction filed by a group, Justice James Omotosho held that since the NBC was not a court of law, it has no power to impose sanctions or 500,000 naira fines on 45 broadcast stations, which the NBC says infringed the NBC Code in March 2019. The court held that the NBC Code was in conflict with Section 6 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and that the NBC cannot be complainant and a judge in its own case. Justice James Omotosho declared the NBC fines as unconstitutional. And the Nigerian Immigration Service has attributed the scarcity of international passport booklets to challenges in accessing foreign exchange to import the booklets. The Controller General of the service, Idris Jerry, also told the House of Representatives at her committee conducting an investigation that major components for passport production are sold in international markets, while assemblage and production takes place in Malaysia. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali has the report.
For quite some time, scarcity of international passport booklets in Nigeria and its foreign missions has been a source of concern to Nigerians. This prompted a presidential directive that the Nigerian Security Printing and Minting Company should commence local production of the passports. The directive is the subject of this investigative hearing as the House demands information on the proposed domestication and processing of international passports.
We realize money in foreign exchange goes to CBN Direct. We go for it, they say no, go and get money elsewhere, buy booklet and do. You can't do magic.
Are you sure the Nigerian Security and Printing Company have the capacity and the ability to operate this whole process?
There's a complaint that print has no capacity. Let's tell them it's a project directive. This is a security document. And there is no, we cannot even say one aspect of it is meant to be open or is meant to be confidential.
The foreign company handling the production told the committee that it has been doing its utmost best to fulfill the contractual agreements despite some challenges. The company said it delivered 1.9 million booklets last year and 800,000 in the first 4 months of 2023.
There's no country where their mint, where their security, the government security prints passport. And listen, no, very few countries. Why? Because e-passport is not a security printing matter.
Meanwhile, the National Assembly Joint Committee on Police Affairs has hosted the Inspector General of Police, the Police Service Commission and other stakeholders as it works on a legislation to give legal backing to Nigeria police colleges and other relevant training institutions.
The passage of this bill will engender a new era of modernized training and the retraining of personnel of the Nigeria Police Force.
Of developing a legal framework for police institutions. The benefits are enormous.
The need to strengthen and empower the Nigerian police cannot be overemphasized.
We will continue to give the police the best cooperation to ensure that being the largest civil security outfit in the land and in a democratic dispensation, we are not going to joke with the police.
The public hearing is consolidating the executive bill and others related in line with the ongoing reform and restructuring of the police force. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Thank you, Lami. Now, the coronation of King Charles III and wife Queen Camilla was a spectacle in every sense of the word. Guests from around the world bore witness to what some may view as a once-in-a-lifetime event, but it is the input of some Nigerians at the core of things on that day, from the crowning to the display of orchestra that caught the eyes of News Extra. Charles Alpha identifies notable Nigerians and their contributions right from the Buckingham Palace to the Westminster Abbey.
The aura and glamour that eclipsed the coronation of King Charles was nothing short of class and finesse. Nigerians in the UK are giving good account of themselves and the country Nigeria, be it in the academia, politics and governance. Several British Nigerians were involved in the ceremony by virtue of their positions, and in this regard, the crowning of the UK monarch, they have shown that there is more that meets the eye. First, a look at Dame Elizabeth Aniogu, a nurse, professor and a medical scholar, UK's first nurse to specialize in sickle cell patients, establishing the Brent Sickle Cell and Thalassemia Counseling Center in 1979. The daughter of Lawrence Aniogu of Onitsha, she carried the sovereign's herb in the royal procession at the coronation of King Charles and Queen Camilla. Omar Omagomi is a cultural anthropologist by academic training and director of community engagement to King Charles and Camilla. She was present at the coronation as senior aide to the King and Queen. Kenneth Afunezi Olisa is the High Bailiff of the Sanctuary of the Westminster Abbey, the Lord Lieutenant of Greater London, and the King's personal representative in the city. The 72-year-old was born to a Nigerian father from Onitsha. Reverend Tosin Oladipo is the chaplain of the Archbishop of Canterbury. He carries his staff and at the beck and call of the Archbishop of Religious Service. He is the Archbishop's vicar. Ade Adelekon is the Security and Aviation Commander and was in charge of the security arrangement for the coronation of King Charles and Camilla. He oversaw the activities of 11,500 officers on duty at the coronation. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Interesting, I must say. Now, the Sudanese army says it is committed to resolving the current conflict in the country through dialogue. Sudan's Special Envoy, Dafalla Al-Haj, gave the affirmation in Juba after meeting with South Sudan's President. Adebola Brooksland Sunday reports.
South Sudanese government, led by President Salva Kiir, said regional political bodies, including the East African Community, African Union, and United Nations, are keen on seeing an end to the conflict in Sudan. Sudan's Special Envoy, Dafalla Al-Haj, said the Sudanese army is ready to negotiate with the paramilitary group Rapid Support Forces, stressing that South Sudan remains a prime country for facilitating the return of lasting peace in Sudan.
We have full confidence in President Salva Kiir that he will continue his efforts within IGAD, and also he has confirmed that the chairmanship of Sudan should continue. Instability happen in Sudan that will impact negatively the whole region. I assure you, we are not warmongers.
Delegates from the Rapid Support Forces and Sudan Armed Forces are currently in Saudi Arabia for pre-negotiations.
South Sudan reaffirmed its position that we in South Sudan, we are just at the gate of Sudan. Our interest is the stability and peace in Sudan. And peace in Sudan is peace in South Sudan.
The talks is aimed at opening up humanitarian corridors for the provision of essential services for the Sudanese people trapped by the conflicts. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
When violent conflicts breaks out, it cuts short education in such areas. It happened to Nigerians studying in Ukraine. It is happening to Nigerians studying in Sudan. Good news is there is hope for those evacuated from war-torn Sudan, as the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board JAM has assured them of proper integration into Nigerian universities. Registrar of JAM, Professor Ishak Oluyede, gave the assurance when he hosted Chairman of Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiru Erewa, in Buari, and Olayinka Uju was there.
With the continued evacuation of Nigerian students studying in Sudan as a result of the unrest in the country by the federal government, the question that will be on the lips of the students and their parents will be, what would happen to the academic pursuit? At present, a total of 1,730 Nigerians have been evacuated from Sudan. Now, this meeting by these stakeholders is to discuss modalities for integrating the affected students into tertiary institutions in the country. For JAMB, there are procedures for admission, and nobody should think any Nigerian university will award certificates with less than 2 years stay and residency in the university, because the procedure is done legitimately.
Every candidate will be considered on its own merit and will be appropriately placed. But where professional courses are involved, there are other regulatory bodies. In the case of medicine, there is Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria.
For Midcom boss, Abike Dabiri Eroa.
We look forward to the students not having their education disrupted, and even if it's going to be disrupted, it's just going to be minimal, because that is all on their minds.
They, however, urge the students not to tread the path of those who returned to the country more than a year ago as a result of Ukraine's war, but refused to comply with the stipulated procedures that would have ensured they continued their academic pursuit seamlessly in Nigerian universities. Olainka Ujo, NTA News.
Let's head to Yanagua now. Science and technology is, without contradiction, a big drive for development. No wonder former President of Nigeria, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, is urging the federal government to invest more in science and technology. The former president was speaking during the empowerment of 100 youths in Bayelsa State on modern electrical installation technology at the Federal University, Otueke. Timi Ohia reports.
I just appreciate them. At least I will not disappoint them.
We are going to be productive.
The training workshop and empowerment program for youth in Bayelsa State is aimed at upgrading their skills in modern method of electrical installations and maintenance. These technologies, including artificial intelligence, robotics, the Internet of Things, big data, blockchains, additive manufacturing, autonomous vehicles, unmanned area vehicles, gene editing, 5G network, smart grids, and calls for wireless power in all sectors of the economy. Former President of Nigeria, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, commended President Muhammadu Buhari for directing the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENIN, to train 100 Bayelsa youths.
If we make the training useful, it will encourage NASENIN to scale a number.
The overseeing officer, Office of the Executive Vice Chairman, Mrs. Nonye Onyechi, disclosed that the NASENIN training on modern methods of electrical installation and maintenance skill development workshop was the second of its kind in South-South, and part of the series of the directive from President Muhammadu Buhari to the agency to build the capacity of young people towards self-employment.
And my charge to them is to take this seriously, to guard the equipment, startup kits that will be given to them jealously. This will help them to be self-employed.
The state government is collaborating with us. They just approved a particular center that we'll utilize. So for us, it's all about collaboration.
The training is expected to last for 5 days. From Otueke, Timinopri, Ohia, NTA News.
The need to put an end to all forms of inhuman treatment being meted out to inmates of the Nigerian custodial centers, as well as decongestion of the custodial centers, took center stage at a one-day stakeholders and public complaints commission on the welfare of Nigerian inmates in Owerri, the Imo State capital. Kingsley Ononiwu was there.
The stakeholders meeting and public hearing is aimed at affording relevant stakeholders an organic opportunity to engage and share knowledge and ideas on the welfare of inmates in custodial centers in Nigeria and Imo State in particular, with a view to unraveling the challenges as well as providing actionable solutions for the consideration of government.
A lot of people are in there with little trivial offenses that
could be let go. So that is where I stand, and that is why we're really, I'm passionate about this. Their welfare, the feeding, sanitation, medical facilities, and so many other things. Accommodation, housing is a problem.
Representatives of Nigerian Correctional Service, Department of State Security Service, Independent Corrupt Practices, and other related offences commission, legal practitioners, as well as other stakeholders provide solutions to the plight of Nigerian inmates. The theme of the event is systemic and proactive investigation into the welfare of inmates in correctional center in Nigeria. In Owerri, NTA News.
One of Nigeria's leading independent energy company listed on the Nigerian Exchange and London Stock Exchange, Seplat Energy PLC, recorded impressive growth in 2022 financial year on the review. This is evident in the declaration of 15 cents dividend per share for shareholders, and with revenue earned in 2022 put at $951.8 million, indicating a 29.8% increase. This was stated by the independent non-executive chairman, Basil Omiyi, at the 10th annual general meeting held in Lagos. Amaka Owo reports.
Leadership of Seplat Energy PLC says it surmounted challenges affecting its operations in the Niger Delta in the year 2022 under review through resilience in strong corporate governance, investing in strong workforce, and prioritizing safety management culture of assets.
Our people work really very hard, working with our communities to make sure that our assets are protected, and of course we were helped a little bit by the oil price. So yes, it was a good year, and it was really appreciated.
The commissioning of the Amokwe-Escravos pipeline, the company says, increased its flow to over 10,100 barrels of oil per day. Profits before tax rose by 15.3% to $204.4 million in 2022. And with increasing oil price, the company declared a final dividend of 15 cents per unit share, which is a reflection of positive financial performance in year 2022.
We continue to drive and lead in CSR and sustainability, making sure that our ESG commitments are met. We are also gearing up towards bringing one of the major flagships, the Ano Gas Plant and Ano Gas Project, on stream by later part of this year. And I'm also looking forward to 2024 in terms of midterm, because 2024 is also an epic year when we want to bring to an end all the routine flaring in our operation.
There is high optimism among shareholders that the successful acquisition of entire share of Mobile Producing Limited will expand the operations of the company. Seplat Energy Limited became the first African company to earn the ISO 55001 Assets Management System certification. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
Well, thank you so much, Amaka, for that. Let's take another break. More reports, very interesting ones, when we return. Please stay. Thanks so much for staying tuned. A former Minister of Power, Saleh Mamman, has been arrested by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. The former minister is being detained at the headquarters of the commission this Wednesday in connection with alleged corruption in the execution of some power projects to the tune of 22 billion naira. The investigations have also uncovered properties in Nigeria and overseas linked to the former minister, while millions of naira and United States dollars have also been recovered. The Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission, HYPADEC, is happy with the level of progress made in the infrastructural development of the country to improve the standard of living of the citizenry. Chairman of the commission, Tefa Ichiav, expresses this feeling while inspecting some ongoing projects in Benue State. Moses Ajao Ode was with him on the inspection.
The inspection team, led by the chairman Hyperdeck, Tefa Etiaf, and members of his team, are in the state to evaluate ongoing projects across various local government areas of Apa, Agatu, Guma, Kasinala, Buruku, and Makudi, which have been impacted by the effect of hydro dam, resulting to flooding. While applauding the contractors for delivering over 85% completion of the projects, which falls within the 2-year strategic plan, the chairman observed that the commission is poised towards delivering on its mandate.
One of the main reasons this committee is going around to ensure sustainability, that we don't just execute projects, but projects that will last.
Some of the beneficiaries noted that the projects will go a long way in improving their well-being.
We have also boreholes that were concerned, but majority broke down. This was the most important.
We are going to maintain it very well so that in the future years to come, they will come and see that yes, this is really what is going on, and this project is also a very nice project.
The chairman also interacted with some pupils of the LGEA Central Primary School Wanune in Taka local government area.
I feel good, and I wish that the government should extend this to another school. I'm thanking the government, the federal government, of bringing this project in our schools.
Other projects executed according to the chairman, project monitoring, Professor Saleh Kanen, include solar street lights and health facilities.
We cannot expect government to bring this to us and also continuously coming back to repair it for us. We have to also make our own contribution.
The sustainability of this project will go a long way in improving the challenges of perennial flooding, educational and health needs of the people, in line with the 2030 Sustainable Development Goal. From Abuja in Buruku local government area of Benue State, Moses Ajao-Udi, NTA News.
Let's take another interesting story. A lot of people do not know which is a frog and which one is a toad. Be that as it may, there's a special frog that makes a special delicacy for a lot of people across the world. Some Nigerians also have it as a special ingredient, and market for it is booming. Abdullahi Mohammed was in one of the markets which attracts buyers and sellers from across the country.
It's a Sunday roadside market in Abuja, Jigawa State. Its customers from different parts of the country spread out for sale special delicacy. Smoked frogs, sticked like codfish. Setting your eyes on it, a pool of saliva embeds your mouth, and those whose condiment has a special place for smoked frog, there is no waiting for it to be in the soups. A quick crunch and the reaction says a lot about the taste. The market may be small and in the open, but the products are expensive, skyrocketing the value of transaction in the one-day-a-week market. Depending on the size of the sticked smoked frog, a stick goes for 2,500 to 3,500.
We said there are three types for the goods. There is big, there is small, there is a medium size again. Like this one is the big one here. So we do sell 2,500, 2,000 per stick. Then the small one we sell 700, 800.
The trucks take tons to load this precious delicacy, with many of the traders bringing in other products to sell.
We come here to buy frog and to supply some things like yam and gari and alibo. That's what we from Benue come to supply here.
With more than 3,500 people making a living from the chains of activities in these markets, the traders are calling on the authorities to provide them a befitting information.
We only run the activities once in a week, which we have no specified land for us to exhibit the market.
In terms of sun, our people will hide themselves. In terms of rain, we still keep our goods. But up till now, the government didn't comply. But we are still pleading to them. If they wouldn't mind, they should help us to get our main permanent site so that the market will
progress more than this.
You may be wondering how the hunters make the catch. I went to a nearby village to find out.
In Yamudi village, we found one of the ponds where villagers here normally put nets into the waters here and trap the frogs, especially in the evening. And what they do next is that they move it down to their homes and then smoke them.
They have something like a hook attached to a rope. They use the parts of the other frogs as bait. The hook is then thrown into the river where the frogs are, and before you say jack, the catches are made, and gradually a sack or two is filled per day.
Leaving Hadejia, an amazing encounter. The kings of the deserts congregating for a drink. A rare opportunity observing the manner the camels are served, instead of the way other animals drink directly from the river. From Hadejia, Jigawa State, Abdullah Muhammad, NTA News.
Abdullah, shall I say, Hadejia, here I come? Let me just leave it at that. Now, have you ever been to Kano? If you haven't, when you get an opportunity, try and visit the famous Kantunkwari textile market, the hub of textile materials, and believe you me, you won't regret it. In this report, Mohammed Rabiu Ali takes a look at the uniqueness of the market, how it turned from a Nigerian market into an international market, creating cordial relationship and being enjoyed by non-indigenous from the host community.
This is a typical day in Kantunkwari market, with everyone hustling to make a sale or purchase. It is said to be the largest textile market in West Africa.
For centuries, Kano is known for its many spread out markets, which attracted buyers and traders from across Nigeria and West Africa sub-region, and still holds its status as North leading commercial hub.
These markets include Singa Foodstuff Market, Wombe Market, Sabungari Market, Kulmi Market, Dorano Grains International Market, among others. However, the uniqueness of Kwari Market stands out with an impressive array of textile on display, including Ankara, African George fabrics, English laces, among others, folded on tables or stacked up in decent stores. There are literally thousands of vendors selling at the market, and you can certainly find whatever fabric you are hunting for. The textile trade in Kwari Market has a global feel to it. The materials mostly are a mixture of local products and imports, with people from elsewhere in West Africa, the Arab world, Europe, and China trooping to transact business here.
Being the host as a local man from Kano State, we are very happy, alhamdulillah, because the market is progressing, is developing, and the cordial relationship between us, is cordial.
The narrow and crowded pathways cutting through this market is perennially filled with buyers who have come in from other northern states, as well as Cameroon, Chad, Mali, and Niger.
We're living peacefully with our hosts, and business is moving well here.
We're doing very, very well. Mainly, the people that host us, these outside people that host us, we're all now one.
Although Kantunkwari has its challenges, perhaps the biggest of which is that local producers are struggling to match cheap textile imports, and artisans who have been producing traditional fabrics for centuries are having it tough. Buyers have switched to the less expensive Chinese manufactured materials. The insecurity problem in Nigeria's northeast has also shrunk patronage from that area and the surrounding countries. With an improvement in the sector, the market now thrives, and shops are again vibrant, with streets always teeming with the noise of commerce. From Kano, Mohammed Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Well, thank you so much for that. Well, with that, you know that yes, Nigeria is indeed a blessed country. Well, we'll call for the reports that I earlier talked about, talking about FEC, where the Federal Executive Council has approved the new National Automotive Industry Development Plan 2023. The new plan is aimed at providing competitive fiscal and non-fiscal incentives needed by automotive industry manufacturers, producers, investors, developers, and all relevant stakeholders. Well, I've been told that Benny Adams will sure take that. Well, it's time for us to join business, and we have Benny Adams standing by with that. Well, Benny Adams, it's over to you.
Thank you, Fatih, and welcome to business. From textile, we move now to the automotive industry. The Federal Executive Council has actually approved the new Automotive Industry Development Plan 2023. The new plan is aimed at providing competitive fiscal and non-fiscal incentives needed by automotive industry manufacturers, producers, investors, developers, and all relevant stakeholders. It is expected to increase local production of automobiles with 40% local content, attaining 30% locally produced electric vehicles, generating 1 million jobs, as well as enforcing patronage of locally produced vehicles by government and companies working on government contracts, as well as also boosting research and development, technology transfer. And tech industry players are of the view that blockchain technology has the capacity to speed up and reduce the cost of transactions, boost financial inclusion, as well as effective service delivery.
Security issues, cyber security issues, cyber threats, or even on digital assets management. It may interest you to also know that in Nigeria here, we also have local indigenous companies that can trace digital assets. So it's a very good technology that will ensure, public sector accountability, probity, integrity in public service. So it's a welcome development that government is really having a buy-in on.
Markets close lower just as Asia markets fall on expectations of U.S. inflation numbers. Nekauko has more on the markets.
Global stocks edged lower this Wednesday as cautious investors assess the latest crop of earnings and awaited a U.S. inflation report for insight on the path of Federal Reserve rate hikes. Markets are also looking out for an interest rate decision by the Bank of England on Thursday, which is expected to be the 12th consecutive hike by the central bank. Asia-Pacific markets fell ahead of the data releases. Japan's Nikkei 225 was 0.41% down to end the day at 29,122.18, and Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index extended its Tuesday losses as it slid 0.53%, while the Shanghai Composite lost 1.15%. In Europe, stocks were muted. The DAX was down 0.27%, UK's FTSE slid 0.19%, and the French CAC lost 0.21%. On Wall Street, futures tied to the Dow Jones Industrial Average dipped 57 points, while S&P 500 futures and Nasdaq 100 futures also pulled back by 0.1% each in early trading. Midweek trading on the African continent was also bearish. Namibia's overall index plunged 10.39% to lead losses in the region in early trade. The Tone Index lost 0.22%, while the JSE Africa Top 40 decreased by 0.11%.
Back home, after a two-day rally, Nigerian's equities market records its first decline by a margin of 0.75% as investors lose 215 billion naira. At the end of today's trading session on the exchange, a total of 554.3 million shares in 5,168 deals, corresponding to a market value of 5.9 billion naira, were traded. Compared with previous trading day, today's data shows 14% decline in volume, 16% decline in turnover, and 9% decline in deals. The current market capitalization is 28.4 trillion. Access Holdings recorded the highest volume of traded.
Thanks for staying with us. 37 agenda items and half and 7.5 hours by the Federal Executive Council at its meeting. Among them is the approval for the award of 129 billion naira for 2 projects under the second phase in Ogoniland. State House correspondent Gideon Ifadi has that.
Issues on Ogoniland have always been in the front burner of the Buhari administration, and little wonder why the bulk of the approvals at the Federal Executive Council meeting went to the area.
So there are water projects that have been awarded under the second phase in Ogoniland, amounting to 22.8 billion naira. Approval was also given for the award for the contract for the remediation of newly identified hydrocarbon impacted sites along the shoreline of Ogoniland, and this is for about 107 billion naira.
Garba Shehu also speaks on some other approvals.
It also got quite a number of approvals, and this include contract for the full scope development of the Shehu Shagari Way, and it is for 91 billion naira. The FEC approved 449.9 million for the engagement of consultants for the development of airport master plan for 17 airports in Nigeria. So also approved contract for post-contract consultancy amounting to 3.4 billion naira for the construction of the second runway and the associated facilities at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja.
On food security, the Federal Executive Council approves a national dairy policy developed by the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development and the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment.
So the purpose is not just to regulate, but also to fulfill the food and nutrition. We all know dairy product is part of nutrition for good bones, especially for kids, calcium and all the other minerals and vitamins that are in that. In addition, of course, you cannot have a good dairy product without, of course, looking at livestock. So this policy not only is to regulate that industry, but in some ways and in connection with other programs and projects and policies has also a lot to do with livestock production, which is embedded in this particular policy.
A policy to aid the local production of automobile parts in the country was also approved. The memo on this policy is one of the 3 memoranda presented to the Council by the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment.
But the kind of assembly that is in process today is that of semi-knockdown parts. And what we have put in place is to give confidence to the original equipment manufacturers of motor vehicles, that confidence to come and actually manufacture completely knocked down parts vehicles in the country.
And for the Ministry of Transportation,
security equipment for the Nigerian railway stations across the country, phase 2, the sum of 4.3 billion naira with a completion period of 12 months.
One is the concession for the operation and maintenance of the proposed Gurara 2 360 megawatts hydropower project, which is about to commence. The project was previously approved by Council in 2019 to be financed with a China Exim Bank loan. I think the project is ready to take off. It comprises of a dam, a 360 megawatt hydropower project, and 2,400 hectares of irrigation in the first instance, and it is situated in Niger State.
The Ministry of Youth and Sports Development presented just one memo today in Council. The memo has to do with the National Sports Medicine and High Performance Center, the construction of a high performance center at the Package B of the Moshood Abiola Stadium.
In all, the total sum for contracts
is 327.34 billion naira. It's a continuum, and it should be seen as such. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Well, thank you so much, Jide, for that. And with Jide Onifade's reports, we conclude News Extra for tonight. Thank you so much for being there. I am Fatima Umar Buba. Please stay safe.